The sound of rain hitting the window had always been comforting to Lila, but tonight, it only deepened the silence of her tiny apartment. She sat on the floor, scrolling aimlessly through her phone, lost between memories she tried to forget and the life she had built to escape them. Her thumb paused on a photo one that made her entire body still dot. It wasn't just any picture. It was a group photo from her old hometown, the place she'd sworn she'd never go back to. And in the middle of that smiling crowd, blurry but unmistakable, was her, a girl with her same eyes, the same tilt of the head, the same freckle below the right ear that only someone close would notice. But that couldn't be. Lila hadn't been there in over 10 years. She zoomed in again, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The caption read, "Celebrating the town's annual harvest festival, so many familiar faces." Familiar, that word lingered like smoke in her chest. The photo had been posted by the town's community page, a place she hadn't followed since she left. But somehow tonight it had appeared on her feed. Maybe it was an algorithm. Or maybe life had decided she was ready to face what she'd buried. She locked her phone, as if that would stop her mind from spinning. 10 years ago, she'd left that town without saying goodbye to anyone, not even her best friend, not even her mother. Especially not her mother. Back then, all she wanted was to escape. The gossip, the small-town eyes that judged her for being different, for dreaming bigger than the fields and fairs, for wanting to be someone else. And now here she was, a designer in the city, living alone, successful on paper, but hollow inside. Her phone buzzed again. A message. Unknown number. Just one line. "You should come home, Lila. It's time." She froze. There was no name, no context. But something in her gut twisted, not in fear, but in recognition. Only one person ever said that to her. Her mother, but her mother had passed away 8 years ago. She'd never attended the funeral. She couldn't. The guilt of that choice still haunted her more than anything. Her breath caught. She opened the message again, her fingers trembling. Could someone be playing a cruel trick? Or was this something else, something she couldn't explain? That night, sleep didn't come. Every creak in the walls sounded like a whisper from the past. Every flash of lightning illuminated a memory she thought she'd buried. Her mother's disappointed eyes, her father's empty chair, the night she packed her bag and walked away under the same kind of rain dot by morning. The city outside felt unfamiliar. She walked to the window, watching people rush to work, umbrellas colliding like muted colors in motion. She used to love this, the anonymity, the freedom. But today, she felt trapped. She opened her laptop, typed the name of her hometown into the search bar. There it was, Willow Creek. Just seeing the words made her chest tighten. She clicked on images, and among pictures of old landmarks and smiling faces, she saw it again, that festival photo, except this time there were more. Someone had uploaded dozens of them, tagged with names she recognized, friends she hadn't spoken to since high school. The old bakery sign, the bridge she'd sat under crying the night she left, and there in another photo was something that made her heart nearly stop. A woman, standing by the riverbank, holding a small white flower. The angle was blurry, but her face was almost identical to her mother's, but it couldn't be her. The photo was taken just last week. Lila's hands began to shake. Logic screamed that it was impossible, but her heart whispered something else, that maybe some goodbyes weren't meant to last forever. Without realizing it, she found herself packing. A few clothes, her mother's old pendant she still kept in a drawer, her camera. She hadn't been behind the wheel in years, but today, she drove down the highway stretched like a memory, long, winding, familiar. Every mile closer to Willow Creek brought back 1,000 pieces of her past. The laughter, the fights, the night she'd run barefoot through the fields after hearing her parents argue. whispering to herself that she'd never be like them, that she'd never return. Now, 10 years later, she was breaking her own promise. When she finally reached the edge of town, it was late afternoon. The sign "Welcome to Willow Creek," where hearts come home, stood crooked, weathered, yet strangely comforting. She pulled over, heart racing. Everything looked smaller. The main street was quieter, the bakery still standing but faded. Children ran by, their laughter echoing through the air. For a moment, it almost felt like nothing had changed. She parked in front of the church, the same one where her mother used to volunteer. As she stepped out, a breeze lifted her hair, carrying with it the faint scent of lilac, her mother's favorite flower. Inside, sunlight streamed through stained glass, scattering colors across the wooden pews. And there, at the front, near the altar, stood a single white flower in a vase, the same kind from the photo. Lila walked toward it slowly, her heartbeat loud in her ears. And beside the vase, she saw a folded note, written in familiar, looping handwriting. She reached for it with trembling fingers. It said, "If you found this, it means you've come home." Her knees went weak. The world blurred. Tears she hadn't shed in years finally fell. She sank to the floor, clutching the note as if it could bring her mother back. But as she cried, a voice behind her softly said, "She knew you'd come." Lila. Lila turned and saw a face she hadn't seen in over a decade, her childhood best friend. Claire. For a long moment, Lila couldn't speak. Her throat tightened as her eyes met Claire's, older, softer, but still the same girl who once promised they'd leave town together. Claire. How? Claire stepped forward, her voice gentle. "She asked me to give you that note. A week before she passed, she told me to keep it safe. She said one day you'd see something that would make you come home." Lila's lips parted, her heart pounding in disbelief. "The photo? The message? Was that you?" Claire smiled sadly. "The photo was from the town's page. But the message? Yes, I didn't know if it was right to send it. I just felt like maybe she'd want me to." Lila turned toward the vase again, her fingers brushing the flower's delicate petals. The scent brought back every memory she'd tried to forget, her mother's laughter echoing in the kitchen, the warmth of her hugs, the way she'd hum when nervous. "She never stopped waiting for you," Claire whispered. Every festival, she'd stand right there, watching the crowd. She always said she'd come home when her heart is ready. A tremor ran through Lila. For years, she had built her success on proving she didn't need anyone. But at that moment, surrounded by the familiar glow of her mother's church, she realized she had mistaken strength for distance. Claire walked closer, holding out a small box. "She left this for you, too." Inside, wrapped in worn fabric, was an old photograph, her and her mother at the harvest festival, laughing, arms around each other. On the back, in her mother's handwriting, were 4 words: "Forgiveness begins with return." Lila's tears came freely now. She sank onto the pew, holding the photo to her chest. "I was too late," she whispered. Claire shook her head gently. "No, you came when you were meant to. Sometimes love doesn't wait to be seen, it waits to be understood." Outside, the rain had stopped. The sunlight broke through the clouds, bathing the church in a soft golden hue. Lila stepped outside, breathing in the scent of wet earth and lilacs. For the first time in years, she felt peace, fragile, real, and alive. She looked up toward the sky and smiled softly. "I'm home, Mom." And as the wind rustled the trees, a single white petal drifted down from nowhere, landing gently on her palm as if in answer.